So finding a nice, comfortable seat to start. You can be forward in your chair if you want to start to get into the core a little bit right away. Maybe you want to be a little more mellow today so you can relax back. Arms can be anywhere that feels comfortable. By your side, especially if you're leaning back, that might feel good. It might give you just a little gentle opening across your heart and chest. Of course, if you're sitting a little more upright, hands can be resting on your thighs, palms down, palms up. So play around, find that perfect spot in your body right now. And then let's all take a nice deep inhale together. Pause the breath at the top. See if you might be able to sip in a little more air. And then open your mouth, let the breath go. Ha. Let the weekend go. Monday so far go. All of the things go. Do that a couple more times at your pace. So you're finding a deep inhale, little pause, sip in some more air, and then you let it go as fast or as slow as you need today. 2 or 3 rounds just like that. And your eyes can be opened here. Maybe they are closed, so you're really starting to draw inward, wherever you need to be. And then eventually start to find that nice deep inhale through your nose, and then also that full complete exhale through your nose. You might be constricting the sides of your throat a little bit, so you're making that ujjayi breath, that ocean sound in the back of your throat. You don't have to overdo it, but it is there. If that's not working for you, just simply inhaling and exhaling through your nose. Soaking up these initial quiet moments. Is always so nice to just pause, to get still. And that being said, it's not always easy to do, even though it feels really good. It can take a moment or two to settle in, to drop into this space. So take your time getting here. Observe the thoughts coming in. Observe the sounds happening around you that might be distracting. And just notice as you're here, as you're working with your breath, how you do start to find this sweet space. Maybe it feels like a big relief to just slow down. Maybe it feels challenging too. That's also okay. Observe here if the shoulders have started to creep up around the ears. Imagine that somebody's just gently pressing down on both shoulders so you're getting that release. It's a sense of weight. Perhaps the inner thigh has started to grip a little bit. Maybe toes or fingers are kind of clenching. Maybe the jaw, the face. There's some tension there. So nice and soft in all of these places. Yes, there's effort to sit like this, but we also want to find a little bit of ease. Good. Take a nice deep inhale here. Open your mouth. Sigh the breath out. Let it go. Ha. Blinking your eyes open. All right, so let's get into the neck, taps of the shoulders a little bit here. So make any little adjustments that you need with your seat. You might want to peek down, make sure that your knees are landing over your heels approximately. You're welcome to take a block between thighs. You could strap the block in if you want to. If you're watching this video on YouTube and you're a little on the shorter side, you might find that it's helpful to take your feet on top of a blanket. So lots of little adjustments. You just want to feel really comfortable and easy here. And then let's start with our hands resting on our thighs. We're going to start to bring our chin towards our chest. And I could feel it in my body right away. The shoulders wanted to come up around the ears, so soften them down. And then the other thing that I'm feeling is that it's really, really difficult to let the back of the neck go. It wants to grip. It wants to hold the head upright. It wants to be seeing what's happening. And as a result of those muscles working all the time, it's pretty tight there. So it's hard to do this. So do you feel your chin just releasing down towards your chest? See if you can continue to sit tall here. So sometimes what happens is we also start to puff the front ribs out. We overarch in the lumbar a little bit, the lower back. So just sitting tall here. Sending your breath, especially the exhale, to the places where you're feeling some intense sensation. Just visualize your breath, creating some space, sweeping out any cobwebs, helping you to find just a little bit of ease. All right, let's inhale. Just bring your chin upright, so parallel to the floor. And then let's just start to lean the right ear towards the right shoulder. So we're gonna do the chin tucked version of this eventually, and we do that pretty regularly. So you're gonna notice that this feels a little different. Maybe you can't get your ear as close to your shoulder, so you don't need to be there. Just pause at that place where you're feeling that intense stretch on the left side. Sometimes it's these like little innocuous poses that pack the most punch. It's a little surprising. And let's just take our right hand to our right cheek. Press your head upright. Let's come back down the center. So chin towards chest. Maybe it's already feeling a little easier to lengthen in the back of your neck. So maybe those muscles are starting to let go a little bit. Good. On your next inhale, chin level with the floor. And then the same thing again. Keep this left shoulder blade releasing down as you start to lean your head off to the left. How is this side, the right side of your neck, different in your body? Is it different? Just observing. This is one of the great gifts of our yoga practice, this attention that we pay to the physical shape, even to kind of the mental chatter or thoughts. We start to notice these things, and then we can start to make little changes, or even just accept where we're at. A couple more good breaths here. Good, and then we're just going to take our left hand to our left cheek, upright. All right, chin towards chest again. Hopefully it's feeling easier still. And then we're just going to move with a breath here. So we're going to keep the chin tucked. It's going to feel a little different now as we bring the right ear towards that right shoulder. Let's do that on the inhale. Exhale. Do that little quarter circle back to center. And then inhale. Left ear towards the left shoulder. Again, soften shoulder blades down. They creep up without us even being aware. Exhale, we come to center. Inhale to the right. You're just moving with your breath. So I want you to do several rounds to each side. You can speed the breath up. You can lengthen it out. Maybe it takes you a couple rounds of breath to bring your ear towards your shoulder. That's absolutely fine too. So really make this your own. And we're going to eventually hold to each side with this tuck of the chin, but we just kind of want to warm this up first. And as you know, we tend to carry a lot of tension in the shoulders, in the neck. So we're just trying to undo a little bit of that. We've all got the Zoom neck this year too. Good. And the next time your right ear is leaning towards that right shoulder, you just hang out there a moment. Maybe this time you want to release that left hand down by your side. That's going to intensify things a little bit. As you go there, you're really paying attention. If it feels too intense, you don't do it. And you also remember that every time we practice our bodies, there's different things going on. So even though we're doing the same shapes, the same poses over and over again, they're always a little different. So it's okay if this pose doesn't look like it the way it did last week. Let that idea go. Finally, if you want to apply a little pressure to your head, you can take your right hand to the top of the head. You might not need that. Good. If your hand is on your head, just release. Good. Exhale. Make that quarter circle back to center. And then inhale. Left ear towards the left shoulder, shoulder blades releasing down. You can release your right hand by your side if you want to up the ante a little bit. This side might be a lot different. Skip it if it's too much. You're breathing, and as you're breathing, you're noticing what's going on in your body. Just charting all of these sensations. Good. And then if you did want to apply a little gentle pressure here, you can take your left hand to the top of your head. Good. And then just release your left hand down if you took that variation, keeping your chin tucked. Make that journey back to the center. Keep your chin tucked here. Just take a few breaths. And then maybe reaching, just releasing both hands down by your side, reaching through your fingers. Really explore the breath, especially the inhale, the expansion of the rib cage, the front of the body, the openness across your heart and chest, the lift of the sternum up towards the ceiling. Good. Nice and easy as you inhale. Just start to bring your gaze forward. Let's wiggle the shoulders out. So just rolling back. And then we're going to roll forward. Good, roll back again. And then just releasing your shoulder blades down your back, just coming to your nice tall mountain pose. Let's take our hands on our thighs and let's start to move into our cat-cow. So just warming up the spine. As you inhale, you're gonna rock forward on your sit bones. So you're arching in your lumbar, your lower back. You're pressing your shoulder heads back, so you're thinking cobra pose here in your upper body. And then as you exhale, you roll to the back of your sit bones. You round in your spine. Let the chin release towards the chest. Continuing like this. So just finding a nice, even pace in your body. If you're feeling a little lethargic today, maybe you speed the breath up. If you're feeling a little anxious, like there's too much to do, if you're a little agitated, slow the breath down. So in this way, the breath becomes this tool that we can use to modulate how we're feeling energetically. And then you're just enjoying this sense of rhythm that you're finding too as you bring this movement into your spine. Few more rounds. Your eyes can be open here, soft, steady gaze in front of you. They can also be closed. Sometimes that's really nice. And it just helps us to check in, become aware of the sensations that we're experiencing physically. It can also help to quiet the mind. When we're looking around, sometimes it's really easy to attach to something. Good. So go ahead and inhale. Just come back to your neutral spine, your mountain pose. You're neither arching nor rounding. Just sitting tall here. Shoulders are stacking over your sit bones. As you root into your sit bones, as you root down into your feet, just notice how that informs the sides of the body, the spine. You feel like you're sitting really nice and tall here. Just taking a few breaths. All right, so we're gonna come into a nice little hip opener here. So we're gonna take this right ankle and cross it above the left knee, if that is happening for you in your body. So the other variation that would work really well to get the hip opening is to simply just take this right leg off to the side. If you're here, you can take your right hand into that thigh, gently press back. If you are doing this seated pigeon pose, you're gonna press that thigh down towards the floor. And maybe you're not pressing the thigh at all. So if you come here and there's a lot of sensation in the hip, less is more. I'm just gonna take several breaths. Eyes can be opened or closed here. Again, feel those shoulder blades releasing down your back. So the shoulders, they love to creep up around the ears. So we're always kind of like checking in with that from time to time. Just make sure that we're not going that direction. So you have the option to stay here for about 5 or 6 more breaths. If you're getting a nice stretch, this is a good place to be. If you feel like there's a little more and you feel really stable where you're at. Maybe you start to fold in any amount. So you can bring your palms together at your heart and do that. Maybe you release your hands down. So hands on blocks can be really, really nice here. And you can do this too if your leg is open. You can find a little of that forward fold. In this configuration, it probably is nice to have your hands on something. That might even be a piece of furniture in front of you or even the wall in front of you. So just something to give you a little stability. Even in this forward fold version, could you still just pretend that you're either pressing this knee back, pretend that you have that hand there giving you that sensation, or pressing down. These hip stretches can be really, really intense. It can kind of take your breath away, so make sure that the breath is moving. All right, so we're gonna start to inhale, roll on out of this. And we'll take that little hip opener to the second side. Side to side, things can look really, really different. So if this is the tighter side, maybe this seated pigeon isn't gonna work for you. Maybe taking that left ankle above the right knee just isn't in the cards. So if that's you on this side, just simply open that leg up any amount. And that's gonna be determined by a lot of things. So you're always listening to your body, feeling some sensation, but not overdoing it. And then you can press back with your left hand. You might start to feel a little more hip opening. I'm getting a little more groin stretch like this. And then of course you can be pressing down if you're seated like this. And probably you're feeling this in the outer hip. You might even be getting some sensation in the glute, the lower back. Is this side easier for you? Is it more challenging? Not judging that, just noticing. Backing out if you need to, doing a little more if you need to. Just being happy right where you're at. And then again, always just reminding yourself to come back to your breath. We lose it, we get distracted, it gets shallow. So we regroup. I think maybe the breath is like the most important part of our yoga practice. All right, so again, option, stay here. If you're getting a good stretch, this is where you need to be. If you want to move in a little deeper, hands can come to heart. You can forward fold any amount. Hands resting on a piece of furniture, chair in front of you, desk, wherever you're at. If you have blocks or books. And then of course you can be doing that if the leg is open. Definitely probably resting your hands on something is going to help you to keep the sides of your waist nice and long. And then there's that imaginary hand pressing this thigh back or down, depending upon where you're at. Breath smooth and steady. Send that exhale to the tight spots. Couple more good breaths. Good. As you inhale, if you're in the forward fold, you start to make your way out. And then just uncrossing that ankle. Walking that left foot in, finding your Tadasana, your mountain pose, and just let's close our eyes here, kind of regroup, check in, notice how you're feeling. Good. And then gently blink your eyes open. So let's stay like this, and let's do a version of our twisted chair pose, our Utkatasana. So if twists are challenging for you, you're going to go a lot less far today. It might just be the tiniest amount. And if there's a little more mobility in the spine and in the trunk, you're welcome to go further. But just know that you don't have to go very far at all, and that's absolutely fine. So rooting into your sit bones, rooting into your feet. And even if you can't like physically, tangibly feel that, just the idea of it, how does it inform your upper body? So does it make you stand? Does it make you lengthen a little more through the sides of your waist? Feel a little opening across your heart and chest. All right, so let's inhale. Stretch arms out and up. Maybe you reach forward and up, and we're not going to be here long. We're going to bring our palms to heart center. Press palms in towards each other vigorously. As you're doing that, notice if the shoulders crept up around the ears. So soften them down. Feel the shoulder blades release towards your tailbone. Nice deep inhale. And then as we exhale, we're just going to twist any amount to the right. Keep pressing palms. Okay, so for those of us where the twisting is a little more challenging, or if balance is a little challenging, you just stay here for a few breaths. If you feel like you'd like to go a little further, maybe you start to hinge forward at your waist and make sure that you feel stable if you're doing that. And then that left elbow can come to the inside of the left thigh, or maybe you can get in a little deeper, taking that left elbow to the outside of the right thigh. So you're just finding a little leverage wherever you're at, palms vigorously pressing towards heart center. Maybe you're moving towards bringing your gaze up over that right shoulder. It's going to be a pretty intense stretch in the neck, so if it doesn't feel good, you skip it. Good, one more deep inhale. Good, and then as you exhale, unwind. So let's find a forward fold here, if that is okay in your spine. So you're just gonna drape over your legs. Hands can be resting on blocks. In gym, you're gonna go less deep, so you could have your hands on a chair in front of you, or you can even just be seated upright, but let your chin kind of just tuck towards your chest. So for anybody watching this on YouTube, if the forward folding doesn't feel good in your body, you go less far. And this is true of actually all of our poses. If something isn't working, you skip it, you sit it out, or you get curious, you play around, you get creative, you figure out a variation that might work better. Though these poses definitely have sensation, we never want them to feel bad. And we also always want to be very stable and safe. All right, so rooting down, if you took that deeper forward fold as you inhale, just starts to roll on up. You might get a little head rush as you come up, right? Nice work. And we take that twist to the second side. So here we go. Inhaling, arms can reach out and up. Maybe it feels better to reach arms forward and up. You notice what your body needs. You play around. Palms to heart center. Shoulder blades releasing down, palms press in towards each other. Nice deep inhale, find lots of length. And then think you're twisting from this lowermost right rib. Exhale. Any amount to the left. It need not be far at all. We're all built a little different. We have different things going on. This might be exactly where you stay. And this is beautiful. If you have a little more mobility, a little more room, you start to hinge forward, fold in, and then again, you can take that right elbow to the inside of that right thigh. You might be able to sneak it to the outside of the left thigh. Wherever you're at, you're finding a little leverage. So arm and leg press against each other. It's this isometric stretch. And then palms press towards heart center. wrapping from that lowermost right rib, and then all of the other ribs just stack on top and come along for the ride. Maybe you're looking out over that left shoulder. Are you breathing? If you're not, go ahead and find a nice deep inhale and notice how the inhale is a little constricted here in this twist. So it takes a little more effort to really fill up. Good. As you exhale, again, just start to unwind, and then we find whatever version of your forward fold works for you. So releasing in, folding down if you feel steady and safe there. Maybe it's more just like a gentle rounding of the upper spine. So just tucking your chin towards your chest. Few breaths. Good. And then nice and easy, take your time, just stacking your vertebrae on top of each other as you inhale. You start to roll on up. So from this seat, let's get into like the pelvic girdle, the hips, the shoulders, the neck a little bit. So we're going to do our Sufi rolls. So hands are going to be resting on your thighs, and we're just going to start to make these little circles. So you're channeling your inner belly dancer. These can be small circles, they can be big circles. You can get the shoulders involved as much or as little as feels good in your body. These look beautiful. Eyes can be closed, they can be open. This is always a fun little move to do in yoga. We don't do a lot of this motion, so kind of feels nice, and it surprisingly stretches a lot of things. It's also just kind of fun. Let's just start to move in the opposite direction. Good, and then just starting to make your way back up to your mountain pose. All right, so finding those sit bones, rooting down there. Let's come into our eagle pose legs. We're going to play with a kind of modified version in regards to our arms today. So this particular class, a lot of shoulder stuff going on, so we're trying to do less of that today. So we're going to take our right thigh over our left thigh. And as you find this, if it's available in your body to squeeze outer hips in and feel inner thighs, squeeze in, find a little bit of that action, and that can get really tiring too, so take little breaks if you need to. But wherever you're at, you're imagining that. It's like everything is coming into the midline. So you're finding a little bit of that motion. And let's see, what do I want to do here? So we're gonna just do our modified eagle arms if it's okay for you, but we're not gonna go all the way in. So take arms out wide. Nice deep inhale here. As you exhale, we're gonna give ourselves a hug. Right arm comes underneath. Okay, so you're gonna be grabbing opposite shoulders with your hands. So typically we're lifting here. You're free to do that if it feels okay in your body. But also, if you just want to explore letting the elbows release down towards the knees today, you can do that. And maybe you kind of squeeze your hands into the shoulders. And then as you're doing that, though, it's like you're trying to squeeze the shoulders outwards. So again, it's that idea of isometric stretch. So it's really, really subtle work in the shoulders. It's not that full range of motion that we're usually going for. And then perhaps here, you also start to tuck your chin. So getting into the back of the neck again, feeling that lengthening and hopefully a little release. And with the chin tucked like this, it's almost a little bit of that cat sensation. So that cat pose where we're rounding in the thoracic. Stay here like this. If you want to go one step further, maybe you start to hinge forward again. So perhaps even just resting your elbows on your thigh, chin melting towards your chest, rounding in the upper back. Beautiful work, everyone. Few smooth, steady, good breaths here. Good. As you inhale, just start to roll on up, stacking vertebrae on top of each other. Release the arms, give them a little shake out. Shoulders to ears, whatever you need. And then we're going to uncross our right thigh. And we take left thigh over right thigh. This side might feel different. So in your body, physically, you might be able to engage these outer hips and feel that inner thigh squeezing in. Even if that's not a sensation that is happening in your body, what does the idea of that look like? How does it, again, inform how you sit in the upper body? Do you get a little taller? Good. And then let's take the arms out wide again. And this little modified eagle arm. So we give ourselves a hug. Left arm comes underneath. If you want that intense shoulder stretch, elbows lift, but I'm going to just keep the elbows releasing down today. And I'm going to keep the shoulder blades releasing down as well. And then you can squeeze the hands, kind of use the hands to squeeze the shoulders in towards each other. And then at the same time, find that idea of shoulders pressing out into the hands. So an isometric stretch. Go in two directions at the same time. Observe where you're feeling things. And then find your breath again if you've lost it at all. And then let's start to tuck our chin towards our chest. And I don't know about you, but with the arms like this, I actually find it like challenging. It's upped the ante a little bit. So I'm getting a little more stretch, a little more sensation in the back of the neck. So you might not be going as far as you would with the arms by your side or hands resting on your lap. That's okay. Just observing how all of the different movements, the variations that we do, how they make things feel different. And just notice how there is this sensation in this pose of everything just like coming into the center, getting really tight. Stay here like this. Maybe you start to hinge forward, holding in, maybe resting your elbows on that left thigh. And then chin releases towards your chest, any amount. So you're rounding in your upper back. It's that cat pose shape. We've got a couple more breaths. Good. On your next inhale, you just start to upright yourself here. Oh, release the arms. And again, little shake out, circle the wrists, whatever feels good here. And then we uncross our thigh. So let's come into pyramid pose. So little stretch in the legs and also with a forward fold. So again, I'm going to give you some options. If forward folding doesn't feel good in your body, you're going to want to take your hands on a wall in front of you, chair in front of you, table in front of you. If you do have blocks at home or books or props, you can set those up so they're slightly in front of you. And again, always be mindful that you feel safe and steady and supported and balanced. So that's always the most important thing. Okay, so we are going to take our right leg and just extend it forward. And then do make sure that your legs are about hip distance apart. And then let's bring our palms to our heart here. Inhale, lengthen through the sides of your waist. And then as you exhale, you start to hinge forward. It might be the tiniest amount. And then maybe this is where you reach your hands to that chair in front of you or the table in front of you. If you want to go a little bit deeper, you start to lengthen forward and you might have to walk your blocks forward. But they rest there. And a lot of this just has to do with how you're built as well. I have really long monkey arms. It's available. Maybe you're pointing those right toes up towards the ceiling. That's going to engage the muscles here. You're going to feel a little of that stretch in the hamstring, lower back, the glute. So Parsvattanasana, pyramid pose. This is one of those poses in yoga that I think is kind of like, it takes a little time to learn to love this pose because it's intense. Let's take a few more breaths here. Good. On your next inhale, you're going to start to make your way back upright. You might need to bring your blocks a little closer to you so you feel really stable and supported as you roll on up. Good work. Let's keep the legs like this just for a breath, and let's find another little twist again. So you're going to take right hand to the inside of right thigh if you're not going super deep. And let's just bring our left hand to our left hip, actually. Kind of lean that elbow back. Maybe you take your right hand to the outside of your left thigh. If having the left hand on the left hip isn't working for you, you can also just grab a piece of chair behind you. Notice if the shoulders have crept up around the ears, you're softening them down. And you're gently pressing your shoulder heads back. So we're sitting really nice and tall, but it's like a washcloth, our spine, that we're just wringing out with this twist. And then just start to move your gaze out, move in the direction of the left shoulder. You might not get all the way there, but move in that direction. Just pause at the place where you're feeling some sensation. Keep your body in the twist, whatever amount you're in there. But as you exhale, just bring your gaze out over your right shoulder. Tuck your chin. And then just notice where you're getting some stretch. Good. Inhale, lift your chin, gaze forward. As you exhale, you come out of that twist. Beautiful, beautiful work. And we take that, our final little sequence here to the second side. So bending your right knee, extending your left leg to straight. All right. And then we're going to find this little pyramid pose here. So you can bring palms together at your heart. Start to hinge forward. Might just be the tiniest amount. You might just stay like this. If you feel like you need a little support, hands on a chair, the wall in front of you, coffee table, whatever you have. If you're folding in a little deeper, you can find those blocks. You can walk them forward. Try to keep your spine a little length here. How does this side feel different in your body? Does it feel different in your body? So like noticing these things, listening to your breath, finding the breath again if you've lost it. Good. So full, complete exhale. And then wherever you're at, as you on your inhale, you just start to make your way up. Good. And then we find the little twist here to the second side. So just bring your right hand to your right hip. And then you take your left hand to the inside of your left thigh, shoulder heads pressed back. Maybe that hand comes to the outside of that right thigh. They're both good places to be. You're doing the same work wherever you're at. Make sure shoulders aren't creeping up around your ears. Soften them down. Press the shoulder heads back. And then again, you can just be holding on to the chair too if having the hand on the hip doesn't feel good. You can begin to move your gaze towards looking out over that right shoulder. You may or may not get all the way there. Exhale down into your sit bones. Inhale, find lots of length. Exhale, empty out. Maybe you can twist in a micromillimeter more. Good. And then stay in this twist. But as you exhale, move your gaze towards looking out over that left shoulder. Ooh, tuck your chin. Feel the feels. Good. Deep inhale. As you exhale, you unwind. Come back to center and then go ahead and bring that left knee in. Good, let's take a nice deep inhale through the nose here. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go, ha. And we're gonna move into our final resting pose, Shavasana here. So you might just be right where you're at, this comfortable seat. If you wanted to turn this into a child's pose, if you've got something in front of you, that can be really nice. You could also do a forward fold if that feels okay in your body. If you're in a space and a body where it's available to you to actually come to the floor, come to classic Shavasana, you're welcome to do that as well. So how do you want to end? How are you going to feel the most relaxed. Make your way there. And then just do a little scan. Make sure that your body is feeling really easy and relaxed. You're not gripping or holding anywhere that you don't need to. Give yourself permission to be quiet and still, to draw inward these final few moments. You don't have to think about that to-do list just yet. Instead, you get to let all of this hard work that you've done kind of assimilate into your bones, into your muscles, into your brain. Take rest, Shavasana. Masato masatgamaya. Tamaso ma joy tirgamaya. Mritya mritam gamaya. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Let your next inhale be deeper. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go. Ha. Bring some gentle movement back to your body. Wiggle, stretch, yawn, anything that feels good. And then just placing your palms in a pile on top of your heart. Sending yourself, sending your body so much love and gratitude for showing up, for working hard, for making the effort. Just promise yourself that you're going to carry a little of this good feeling with you into the rest of the day, the rest of the week ahead. Just start to bow your chin towards your chest with a smile. Beautiful work today, yogis. Thank you. Namaste.